Hello everybody, Walter here. Welcome to episode 18 of the Let's Play series for Satisfactory 1.0. In the last episode we finished exploring the map and then finally got around to building a proper aluminium plant in the swamp. But we're not completely finished with that yet, so let's quickly jump back into the game and have a look where we left off last time. And here we are, right back at the aluminium facility in the swamp. Now, before I get started on getting the raw materials in, I need to make a few modifications to our production lines. And the reason has to do with this water line here, with the pump, and also those 4 refineries here. So basically, these refineries here produce the aluminium scrap, but also water as byproduct. Most of that water is handled in those 2 refineries here, which produce the alumina solution. But a little bit is also handled in the 3rd refinery. And to make sure that this is properly handled, I added a valve right in the spot here, which just handles the 20 per minute overflow. But with the pump over there and no valve here, there's a good chance that this here will actually completely fill up. And this will back up, and then I need to handle the 20 water per minute in another way. And that is a bit of a waste, so the first thing is actually grabbing another valve. And then putting it right there. And then setting it to the 180. And obviously I'm going to color code this again. And then I can close this part off again. And now we should have no issues with this here filling up. And obviously I need to make the same modifications now to all 4 other production lines. And that's the water dealt with. While I was here, I also tried my hand on a little bit of decoration, as I am a little bit close to the terrain here, and it just going straight through the walls looked a bit strange, so I decided to, well, tell a little story of all of that. But we are now done with the water issue, so next up is lighting up in this central hexagon here. So I'm just going to grab a couple of those street lights and then, let's see, yeah, that looks good. And if I am not entirely wrong, I should be able to place them every other foundation. And that makes for a nice symmetrical setup. So I'm just going to go once around this hexagon now, and also along this bridge at least, so it's not that dark during the night. So that is the lighting done. Now it's time to get to the bottom here and actually completely rework this, as I kind of forgot about the purities of my bauxite nodes, which means that I actually need to add a splitter and merger down here, and I don't have the required space. So I will have to rework this foot segment here, and the first step is actually completely removing this entire part here I built last time, which shouldn't take too long actually. And once that is done, I should be able to build this in a way that I have more space. And it looks like I actually forgot to remove some of the scaffolding last time. So, not too bad of an idea to have a second look, I guess. So, the rest up there can remain. Now, down here, let's start by adding a proper floor, which is not in the foot. Then I need some of these here, just to make sure this is all rotated the same way. Let's go around in a circle. Then let's grab that corner here. So, now, next up are the sides, and let's quickly check. So I have some bauxite over here, copper there, and more bauxite there. So if I go north and then split off, that is the best way for the solids. And the liquids, crude oil is down here, and water I can get all around the map. Maybe even down there already. So, yeah. That means solids in this direction, liquids in this direction. Okay. So, that means I can make these here completely closed off. And then over here... Oh. I can place this like that, then this around. And that gives me a good amount of additional space to work with down here later on. Okay, now let's quickly check if I were to grab the foot here and place it in this spot. Yep, that would work. And I should have enough space for all I need. Okay, that is looking pretty good already. Now, the next step is just planning out the pathway. And since I haven't really showed you this in earlier episodes, let me just give you an idea how that works. So, for that, let's actually go with the standard foundations for this. Standard foundation, I said. So, the idea is pretty simple. I just follow the path with the standard foundations, and I try to make this a multitude of 4 foundations. So in this case, this is 16, and when I need to go up or down due to the terrain, I'm just going to use the corresponding double ramps. And later on I can just replace this here, piece by piece, with the corresponding blueprints for the walkways. And yeah, I think this is enough for this little spot. So let me just clean up the area and get this here in place and direct it to the various nodes. And a couple minutes later we have already reached the copper node, which provides us currently with a Mark 5 build worth of copper ore, but once I have the Mark 6 I am going to upgrade this, since this here is actually supposed to provide 900 per minute, which is going to be required for all of this here to run at full capacity. So, with the copper node running, it's time to work on the 3 bauxite nodes in this direction over there. Which actually took a little bit longer, but now I have the output of the pure, impure and normal node all going through those 4 belts down here. The 1200 being produced by this pure node are directly split over here onto 2 Mark 5 belts, so later once I have it available I only need to upgrade this and this short belt here to Mark 6, and nothing else needs to be changed over here. The output of the impure node makes its way on a Mark 4 belt, although it looks very similar to the Mark 5. Yeah, and while we're on that subject, let's make our way back to the split. Because I've also already put down the merger we are going to need for this down here. So, this is the Mark 4 coming from the impure node, and the second impure node will come with a Mark 4 into this side here, and those get merged into a Mark 5. And then the last normal node will make its way directly onto this Mark 5 there. So, with that said, let's get those also into place. And in this time I think I'm actually going to show you how I set up those miners usually. So the first thing I need are a couple foundations, so they are at the proper height. So I don't have to worry about that part. And then I can place my first miner. Yep, that looks good. Then yeah, let's keep them in since I still have the second one. Yeah, that looks good. I can place that one in the correct height. So the miners are in place. Now I can grab this barrier here, and with control I can make sure it's connected properly to the miner and can serve as a connection for a foundation. Then I remove these. Go into blueprints. And grab the miner foundation. Now this in line and one in this direction, and then this is properly placed. The same over here. That looks good. Then I can get rid of these here. Now for power, I just need to connect them down here. And then this needs to go a little bit further over here. Let's try this. Yep, that looks good. And then this one there. Okay, that's the power. Now let's overclock these to the max. So this is the pure one and this is the impure one. Okay, that fits perfectly with what I have planned. Then here I have the Mark 5. Goes in there. And then in there. And the other one is the Mark 4. Which will go in there. And then in there. That looks very good indeed, although... forgot the connection here. Okay, this is now also powered. And now the last part is somewhat optional, and that is the connection to the walkway here. So for that I need to open this here up. Then I'm going to grab a T-junction. One here, another one there. This one here needs to go up by 2 meters. Then I need... Let's see... If I move this... Yep, that looks good. So I need to rotate this a little bit. And properly align this. And now... This here is properly connected. So let's get to the second one. And that is going to be a bit more annoying, I suspect. Although, let's see if we can't get this done in a similar way. It's a little bit misaligned, but I think it's good enough. Although, let's see if we can't get this done a little bit better. Like so, for example. And that looks halfway decent. Okay. So, we now have the 2 miners here also connected properly and running. And now all I need to do is connect all of those belts here with the belts in the central pillar of the factory. And all of the belts are in place, as are the conveyor lifts. I still need to upgrade this belt here to Mark 6 once I have it available, which is the reason I haven't closed off the top of this walkway here yet. But for now, let's get the last missing conveyors in place. So this one goes over there. Can I... It's over there maybe? Let's see if I can... Nah, this doesn't look good. Okay, then let's do it like this. And then this one over there. Oh. Yeah. Let's connect them like so. Then this one over there. Then finally this one over there. Okay, that looks good. So, the bauxite and copper ores are done with that. At least until I can upgrade the last few belts. So it's time now for the crude oil and the water. And for that I need to start with a couple of pumps. One for the crude oil and 2 for the water. Now, these need to be connected to the pipes up there. So let's see if we can get this done without unnecessary amounts of well, clipping. So let's see. Move one up. So then we need to move this vertical to horizontal. Okay, that's the first one. Just going to do this bit by bit, and actually that should be a clean one, just to be on the safe side. Similarly, this one here. Okay. That is the maximum I can do here, it appears. And then we have our last one, which goes just straight through here, I guess. Okay, now I need to connect them correspondingly. So let's see. The first one will have to be raised a little bit so we are not colliding with the belt there. That goes straight down here. That is exactly what I wanted to avoid. How am I going to do this? Yeah, okay, this will have to be done like that. Doesn't really look overly nice, but whatever, it works. So, that's the first one done. Then let's add the second one, which needs to go straight down. And over like that, and that works out perfectly. Didn't even need this one there. And then we have this one here, and... come on. Clean pipelines. And now let's see. Yeah, that's exactly not what I wanted. Let's see. I need to go to this one, two. And now, if I connect this to the part up there, it hopefully works around the corner. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So aside of in this little kink here, it worked out quite decently. So now let's add the color coding. That looks good. Then we need power. So let's cut that from over here. And just add it like so. Doesn't really matter much. Then we need the outside. And here let's go with steel. Then I just need to add this here, and hopefully I should be able to connect them like so. So this is now all connected, which means I can add the foot here. And that looks pretty clean already. So now all I need to do is add the pipelines from here all the way to the crude oil down here, and the water probably from somewhere around here, if I can't find a good location, then from over there. And similarly to what I did with the walkways, I'm going to start with just laying out the path using foundations, and that way I don't have the up and down in the pipelines, and they are all nice and straight, and I don't have to worry about things like the liquids swishing back and forth and causing some issues. So, but anyway, let's get these here properly connected to... Oh, let's start with the crude oil down there. And a bit later the first pipeline is now in place. The Other two will come in a moment. But for now, let's have a look at this. So, as you can see, we will have to pressurize this oil well here. And I already prepared this setup here, which will get the inputs of all of these 6 oil well extractors. But let's get started with the pressurizer itself. And I'm just going to rotate this way around, so I can probably power it. And yeah, we get the sequence. And once that is done, we can now actually place those extractors. So let's see, this one needs to go roughly in this direction. This one here will have to go in this direction. Then we have one going over here. One going over there. One here. And then the last one over here. So now I just need to connect them. Yeah, come on. Like so, and then I can colorize those. And now I just need to overclock this to 300. Like so. Okay, that is looking pretty good actually. I really like the way this is inside of this structure here. But let's check. Okay, the oil is starting to flow. And with this little drop in height, we should also avoid any kind of backflow. So that is also very good. So, yeah. Next up is the water, which I'm actually going to grab from somewhere over there, since getting the water out of the swamp is a bit tricky and I want this to look at least halfway decent. But first, yeah, let's actually deal with this little annoyance here. And there we go. So. But as I was saying, next up is the water. And there we go. So that should be 900 water per minute. So 4 times 225 divided on 2 pipes. And yeah, now I just need to wait until these here are actually putting out the water. Okay, it's starting to flow. And now I just need to wait until the water actually reaches all the way to the top there and gets distributed. And once that happens, all of these factories here should start producing. Now some of the belts up there still need to be upgraded, so I'm likely going to get a little bit of backflow and belts backing up, but for the most part this here is now done. So let's just wait a little bit until all of this here is starting to properly run. And yeah, I'm also going to use the opportunity to check for missing connections and similar. And this right here is what we want to see at this point. You might notice these here are occasionally stuttering, and that is because I need to upgrade those to Mark 6, which I can't currently. Now, as it shouldn't surprise anyone, I found over 24 of little mistakes, some more severe than others, and even 2 that were part of my blueprints. So in case you're making blueprints, let me show you what I'm talking about, so you're not getting surprised by this. So to make this entire thing here more compact, I only have these pipe wall holes here as a bit of decoration, and the pipes are directly connected to these pipeline junctions. But that means that if you're not careful, you can accidentally connect the pipe here to the floor hole or the wall hole instead of the junction, and that is come on, exactly what happened in this case here. Yeah, I can see exactly the same problem again, and for some reason stuff is stuttering. So now it's stopped stuttering. Okay, so that's the first blueprint corrected. And the second blueprint, and that is something that is not really part of this blueprint, but if you're not careful can lead to issues. And that is, if you look closely, you can see behind this sign here there is another conveyor pole, which was from an earlier instance of this. And that led me to connecting the blueprint from this side, not to this part, or not to this floor hole, conveyor pole, but to the conveyor pole next to that, which obviously meant that the materials were not flowing in the correct spot. So, yeah, make sure you clean up properly after the fact. So, those were the two primary mistakes in the blueprints, and besides of that, I forgot to set the assemblers in some cases. Over here I forgot one of the smart splitters, also over there, and a few other minor things. But now, as you can see, it's flowing quite nicely. Now this here is mostly due to the pure bauxite node just having a Mark V conveyor, so that will also rectify itself. But as far as I can tell, this is now running as close to peak efficiency as possible, which means it's time to make our way back to the home base to have a quick look at the processing of our alien remains. Now, all of this here is actually what is left over from my encounters during the building of the Aluminium Facility. All of the other stuff was already processed, and it amounts to over 2.5 industrial storage containers. So that is going to be a decent number of coupons. So let's see. Okay, we have 57 in there. So let's grab these, and then... yeah, I can actually put one in there. So, then we are going to need a quick lift and then a conveyor. There we go. That is now all being processed. And we already have our first 2 coupons now. Yeah, that is going to be a decent number. But while this is processing, we might as well again continue and this time make our way over to the oil processor, because I think it's time to get all of the modules in, since some of those are still the temporary power modules. And yeah, I now have my actual power plant and I don't need those anymore. And we have arrived. Now, first things first, we don't actually need a third train over here, so let's get rid of it. That was back from a time where I was considering putting my main base all the way over here in the north in the desert, since it's a wide and open area. But I think with what I have planned, this area down here is definitely sufficient, so I don't need that much of a buffer. So I can get rid of it. Next up is, as I said, getting rid of those temporary power modules and replacing them with the proper modules from my oil processor, which are the recycled rubber and plastic modules. And additionally, I'm also going to upgrade those 2 belts here, which are currently Mark IV, into Mark V. I will have to have them at Mark VI for all of this here to run at peak efficiency once more. But at least the Mark VI will allow about half of this here to run at least. So, as I said, let's get all of this here properly upgraded. And just like that, we've lost about 20 gigawatts of power production, which shouldn't be much of an issue since we still have 100 left, and that should be enough. So, with that done, I think it's time to get back to the main base, where I can now get rid of those now empty industrial containers and also the merger down there. So, the processing is done. Now let's quickly check. Okay, 84 coupons, which is quite a lot considering how many coupons we already got from this year. Remember, we also already put a decent number of coupons into unlocking stuff in the awesome shop, so yeah, there is not much left, and for the moment I am aiming for the golden nuts, which is required for one of the achievements. So I'm not going to buy anything. But this reminds me, I never actually built the cyber wagon, so I might as well do that at the end of this episode here. So. Yeah. You might notice something with the wheels on this. I even included those. Oh my goodness, they even included the broken window. Okay, I am I'm totally and another achievement. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Those are rectangular wheels. And I actually need to how do I open the menu? No, that's not it. This needs some fuel, but I'm not sure where I can actually put that into the wagon. Back there? Oh, okay. That's where the fuel goes. So, now we can actually use it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Enough with that. So, I think that makes it a nice point to stop with the episode here. We now have finally our aluminium facility running. We have our oil processor running. And in the next episode, we're going to start on industrial scale ore refinement. And from that point on, we're going to escalate this here until we are basically done with this game here. But that is going to take a few more episodes. So, as I said, in the next episode, we're going to work on the ore processing. And that brings us to the end of this episode here. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and comment. It really helps with the algorithm. Independent of that, I wish you a nice day. And well, see you.